I really want to be a nurse, but my parents are having this like old path for me, like you have to do these certain stuff to be a nurse, and that's not what I want to do. So they're kind of like forcing me, but I told them I really don't want to do that. I want to be my own self. Also with Annie's, a lot of people don't picture me as the smartest person, some people. But it's like, I go, I'm going to be a nurse, and some people are like, what? Really? But I just like my own path, and I'm not going to let anyone tell me wrong, and I just like that about me.
I think, Liz, you'll be our last one, and then we'll go back to Julie.
I think it comes from like when you do something new. That might not be the thing, okay, I really want to do this, but you might get an idea from that about something that you actually really love, and then you can follow that later.
We're going to have more sharing time. All right, let's bring our attention back to Julie.
That's good. Actually, there's something that Elena, I'm going to read Elena.
I'm going to read the piece of the commencement speech that she took from Thomas Friedman that he gave at Yale University, and it was like 2003. All right. I first learned about survivors and thrivers as a reporter in Beirut during the Lebanese Civil War in the late 1970s. Beirut in those days was a city racked with terrorism and violence, with car bombs exploding regularly and street fighting between various Lebanese factions a routine feature of daily life. The survivors were Lebanese who took in way too much information and suffered from system overload. If they saw an Israeli plane flying overhead, they said, "Oh my God, that's an Israeli plane, it might drop a bomb. I'm dropping everything and running home to my basement, see you later." Survivors were called survivors because they were just barely getting by. They spent all of their days worrying about every conceivable threat. Thrivers, by contrast, were people who learned to live with uncertainty, mainly by learning to view their environment very selectively. They would see an Israeli plane going overhead and say, "Hey, there's an Israeli plane flying overhead. I don't think it's going to bomb me or my neighborhood. I'm going golfing." There's no such thing as perfect security in today's world. Rational precautions should be taken. But once you've done that, you basically have to decide, am I going to sit home in the basement forever, or am I going to get on with my life? Get on with your lives.
Okay, so with that, I would love to show you a little piece of the film I did with my friend Christian McEwen about tomboys. I think these girls do a really good job of, girls and women, do a really good job of getting on with their lives. And they're just filled with self-confidence and energy. So I think you might enjoy this. So we're not going to watch the whole thing. We'll watch maybe 10 minutes.
Get into a place